Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa man wala. Syada la ilaha illallah syada Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. All praise and gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa taala. We are in the session of Quranic discourse to unleash the Quranic solution in the topic we are having today, living up integrity. We want to discuss more about integrity because this is one of the value that we want to inculcate in every organization. We want to build up in any family, and of course it starts with any individual who live this life. And with today we have two panels to discuss, to be invited for this session. Firstly, I would like to welcome Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar. Welcome, Dr.
Thank you very much.
And also we have Hajah Rohani binti Haji Muhammad Shahir. Welcome,
Thank you.
Hajah.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much. And also Ustaz Tirmizi Ali to accompany our discourse today to discuss about integrity, how we want to impart and how we want to make sure that this is built up in this society to make sure our country and also the whole world is being uh, being built up with the good value in our daily life. To start our session, we will see or we will peruse from chapter number 33, verse number 70 and 71 from page 427. I would like for you to open up the Quran, the Mus'haf, and Ustaz Tirmizi will lead the reading, the recitation of the verse. Tafadhal.
Alhamdulillah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillahil Aliyil A'la. Al-Waliyil Mawla. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa wa qaddara fahada. والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وأهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم إلى هذا اللقاء المبارك. والنزاهة هي يعني من أحسن الأخلاق، والأخلاق صفة حميدة وصف الله بها نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم كما قال تعالى: وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم. وكيف ننشرها وكيف نعززها في المجتمع وما ثمراتها. اللهم اهدني لأحسن الأخلاق لا يهدي لأحسنها إلا أنت، واصرف عني سيئها لا يصرف عني سيئها إلا أنت. والحديث في صحيح مسلم: فإن خير الكلام كلام الله عز وجل. وفي البداية سأقرأ إن شاء الله آيتين من سورة الأحزاب ابتداء من آية 70. وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا. اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم. يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. صدق الله.
This is the recitation from verse 70 and 71 from Surah Al-Ahzab, chapter number 33. O you who believe, keep your duty to Allah and fear Him and speak always the truth. He will direct you to the righteous good deeds and will forgive you your sins. And whosoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, he has indeed achieved a great achievement. He will be saved from the hellfire and made to enter paradise. These are two verses from Surah Al-Ahzab, which will struck our mind, our heart, because when Allah called the believers to be fearful, ittaqullah, and followed by waqulu qawlan sadida. I would like to address to Dr. Daud Bakar for you to enlighten us about the idea of integrity in Quran, and also if you can relate with verse number 70 and 71. It's about our words, and it leads to yuslih lakum a'malakum, that Allah will perfect or improve our deeds. How our words is related to our deeds in terms of integrity to be built in our daily life, please.
Thank you. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وبه نستعين ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الأمين أما بعد. Thank you, brother moderator, respected Madam Hajjah Rohani, respected Al-Qari, Ustaz Tirmizi, audience, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam.
Alhamdulillah, we are gathered this afternoon to take away some of the insights from the two verses which were beautifully recited by Al-Ustaz Tirmizi just now, and trying our best, level best to extract the very message of these two verses. As far as integrity is concerned, I have the feeling that the integrity is not confined to any particular verse of the Quran. In fact, the integrity has been all the way embedded throughout the Quran, because integrity is the very essence of Islam. Because for you to take the wahyu and to write the wahyu into the Quran, it requires a lot of integrity of the companion to memorize and to document the Quran. So integrity has become, even for one word, for you to put in the Quran. So from that history of the collection of the Quran and the collection of the Hadith Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where the muhaddisun and the transmitters of the Hadith were traveling, they were men of integrity, without which their transmission will not be accepted, or at least to be disputed among the scholars. So integrity has become the very essence of Islam, not in words, but in action, in practices. But coming back to these two verses, what struck me most, brother moderator, is the very first ayah of the chapter Al-Ahzab, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala start the surah by saying, Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu ittaqillaha wa la tuta'il kafirina wal munafiqin. Meaning, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the mu'minun, Allah has addressed the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam first to be cautious, be fearful and cautious about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and don't ever listen to the voices and the the words of the kafirin and munafiqin. And toward the end of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought back the very meaning of taqwa and the very word of good words, the correct words to be spoken by the mu'minun. Because again, from my perspective, taqwa is something hidden, something not tangible. It's something that you don't know whether he is a taqwa, muttaqi, or otherwise. But the words spoken would reflect the quality of the mind. And this is something qawlan sadida, because if people is able to observe their words, they are the potential. That's why the whole verse is coming in the tense of mudari', the present tense, to show that it might happen, it might not happen in the future. So this is an interesting reflection, that if we can be of taqwa, God-fearing, and be of mindful of our words to be spoken, and we can manage and improve the quality of our deeds. And inshallah, Allah will forgive our sins, and that will lead us to obey Allah, not to obey the munafiqin al-kafiri in the first ayah of the chapter. And this is how we put them together, the taqwa, the right words, and the improvement of the good deeds, and the forgiveness of the sins, and that entirely or collectively will lead to to obey Allah and to obey His Rasul, and to get the biggest victory, to prepare human being in the next ayah to become the Khalifah.
That is interesting.
Interesting,
About
the
the following,
integrity.
about the
Yeah,
integrity.
because otherwise there's no point of becoming a leader when there's no integrity. So this is my point of view. It prepare human being to be of taqwa, to be of nice words for them to take the responsibility of leading the world.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Dato. So I can have a little conclusion over there. Basically, our wording is really essential. It relates to our good deeds, and that is the preparation to take the load as a Khalifa, as a leader, to take the responsibility, which will be covered in the consecutive verses. So this is one angle that we want to discuss about integrity, because integrity is everywhere. It's not only for believers across the board, across the religion. Integrity is so essential. So with Haja, if you can enlighten or to share your findings, your observation about integrity. What's the status of integrity in Malaysia, for example, and also maybe in Southeast Asia? Throughout the history, how about our integrity in the past and current, and maybe way forward? Your observation, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Ustaz Fazrul, and respected honorable friend, yeah, Dato' Bakar and Ustaz Termizi. Alhamdulillah, I'm really not an authority in integrity, but let's read from the Oxford meaning of integrity, yeah? Just to give a little perspective of the term itself. Obviously, Dr. Daud has done a beautiful narration of what the Quranic verse, that is what all Muslims should hold. But just for the understanding of the literary word of integrity, I'd just like to read from it, yeah? One of the oldest meanings of integrity refers to its etymology. Integrity stems from the Latin word integritas or integer, which means wholeness or unit. It also carries the meaning of entire, a whole or untouched, intact, sound, true or reliable. So integrity means the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, or the quality of being honest and upright. In sum, integrity is honesty. Yeah, that is such a beautiful summation of it. So I think, mashallah, like what Dato' Bakar said, when we hear the words recitation by Ustaz Termizi, it can bring tears to your eyes. Yeah, if you're fearful, a God-fearing person, you really should embrace the words of the Quranic and see what happened to you inside. Meaning, are you reflecting what the Quran is saying about being honest? And actually, Islam has all of it. Yeah, Islam is a way of life, and we know that we are supposed to be a character. And because when the Aisha was asked what is the akhlaq of the Prophet, right? Prophet, and she said the akhlaq of the Prophet is the Quran. So he is a living example of what the Quran is saying about good character. So mashallah, if Ustaz Fazrul asked me about the status of integrity in Malaysia, I really am not proud of it at all. Yeah, I think I went through certain of the statistics and research done on the measurements of integrity index. Yeah, it's called IPI, yeah? Index of Public Integrity. It was done by OECD, and then I just went through some of the numbers. They measure about 117 countries corruption index, yeah, and they actually went through 6 segments. Amongst it is judicial independence, administrative burden, trade openness, budget transparency, e-citizenship, and freedom of the press. So when I look at the numbers, I mean the top rank is 10. Yeah, the top ranking is number 10, and in terms of judicial independence, Finland ranks 10. So I just look at the best, and I look at Malaysia. That's all. Yeah. If not, I have to look through at 177 countries. So Malaysia is at 7.52, but you and I can imagine whether you agree or not with that number. And then administrative burden is 8.03.
What does it mean by administrative burden over there?
Anything that is a stumbling block in terms of administration
Okay.
of the country. This measures the public integrity, so it
Okay.
more measure on public. Yeah, they have also index measures for the business and all that. Yeah, whistleblowing and all that. So
Okay.
trade openness. Are we open to trade now? Inshallah, after the streamlining, doing it online, everything is made easy. There is less room for potential corruption to
Corruption.
happen. So we are more open, I suppose, 8.42, but Finland is at 9.7. And budget transparency, we're at 7.96. Finland is at 9.78. E-citizenship, we are at 7.7. Norway is at 9.5. And freedom of the press, this one, 6.98. And Norway is at 9.61. So any measures, yeah, at the moment we are open to discussion, open to debate. But basically, I think as a nation, we must all be concerned about the status of integrity in Malaysia. In fact, they tried to do a measure. How do you measure a nation all the citizens are of high integrity? So an example given was they put a wallet with cash and just leave the wallet there. What's the probability of the wallet being returned
Written.
with money inside? And then they put a little bit of money, some they put a lot of money. So in which country do you think the wallet comes back with money? Which country do you think? Do you think it's Malaysia? Well, not really. Actually, it's the European countries. Yeah, a lot of them got returned back with cash inside. And I think Japan is also one very high integrity nation, yeah. Because my daughter shared this thing. She went to Japan for holiday, went to the toilet, left her iPhone, and came back to the same toilet. It was still there. So that kind of measure, does it indicate what kind of society we have?
Yeah.
That is basic to the man on the street. Kan? We can try that with Malaysia and see if you put your wallet right in town, and then you go back and see is your wallet still there. So Wallahu alam, yes, I
So this
think
is the status of
yeah,
the index of
measure, yeah,
public
index.
integrity
Yeah.
measurement. We might agree or partly agree about it, but of course, if we are observing on the experiment, there is a difference, right? Having the wallet in Japan, in Finland, and also maybe in Bangladesh or in Indonesia. So in that case, I want to address to Datuk Daud Bakar. In the time of ignorance of Jahiliyah, right? If we put the wallet, might be lost. But if we give the wallet to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, so even when he migrated to Medina, still the responsibility is there, right? People keep put trust in Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and giving the address Al Amin, right? So having Islam will leads to more integrity in the past, right? But now when we go to Finland, the index is 10, but when going to a Muslim country, the index will go down and down and down. So what's missing actually in terms of our religion or the spirituality in the Muslim country that we want to dig really deep so that we know what to do about the education, maybe about the policy and so on and so forth, so that if Islam can bring higher integrity in the past, we want to repeat that history in the future, inshallah. Please, Dato'.
Thank you very much. That is quite a difficult question because, with due respect, I don't think we have a ready answer for that. People are still doing research why a nation like Finland and Norway, without having Islam, or even Japan nearer to us, would have that level of high integrity, a high honesty, as if they believe the God will look at them. In the case of us, ihsan level, if we cannot see the God will see you. I mean, this is the highest level of ihsan in our Islamic culture, but it is not happening within our own community. And people are doing research why is that phenomenon? What led to that phenomenon? Yeah. I'm still perplexed myself. What really caused the issue of lack of dishonesty within Islamic community? Whereas we might read even in the Haram, in the Kaaba, surrounded by
there is also corruption happen over there.
Corruption and theft, very common theft being committed in front of Kaaba, and this is quite mind-boggling. And I could only conclude that I mean the abnormally between the Islamic practice in non-Islamic countries and the non-Islamic practices in Muslim countries will reflect to three fundamental reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is Islam is not about the religion of a few, even though the few could be the best important person in the society, among the scholars, among the ustad, among the imam. Islam is always about the community. That's why in the Quran it's always about khitab al-jama'i, the collective address.
Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu.
And when the Prophet migrated to Medina, and the Prophet said to the people of Medina and the Makkah, the migrant, well, al-yawm ja'alallahu lakum ikhwanan ta'manuna fiha. Is the whole collective coming together. Number two, that's why we cannot be focusing on personality in Muslim society. In the West, they don't focus on the personality, they focus on the collective culture. Whereas in our tradition, we put the celebrities, we focus on this, on that, on this. Quran never focus on celebrities, focus on the collective culture of the society. So the people believe they are part of the culture. Taxi driver, the gardener, they become honest because they wanted to be part of the culture. Number two, from my perspective, our tradition, our teaching of Islamic teaching, traditional Islamic teaching is very much ritual in nature, between me and my God. And even in that definition, I cut into two pieces. When it involves human being, the God is missing. I could
segregated,
be,
right?
Yeah, I could be punctual in my prayer. I could be observing my dress. I could be this and that. When we come to human being interaction, it's not part of Islam. I can take advantage. I can cheat people. I can be late to whatever. I can do this or do that. But this is a very clear demarcation of Islamic teaching. Meaning to say, our Islam is not functional. It's not effective because we have divided into Islam into ritual and non-ritual. In Islam, everything is ritual. Everything is ritual.
Everything is ritual.
To be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the third one, I don't know what to say, but I think the reason that led to this phenomenon, we are lacking the sincerity in whatever we do or wanted to do. When we lack the sincerity, although we wanted to portray that we are the best, we are in nation, the best this, the best scholars, intellectual, policymakers, and leaders, but if we don't have the sincerity, we cannot achieve that target. Whereas in the West, in some countries in the West, though they don't have the faith, they have the sincerity. And Allah look into their sincerity. Allah give them from that perspective.
Thank you, Dato, to enlighten about, to focus on these three aspects about the collective and community culture, about ritual, and also about sincerity. Three big words, actually, if you want to understand how we want transpired about between ritual and non-ritual, right? To inculcate or to embed sincerity in our daily life, how to measure or to train any new workers in any organization. Okay, you want to be sincere, and this is the pathway, so that you are not transgressed from this path. This is something that we want to go more, inshallah. So we have a break for a while, and we will continue in Quranic discourse, unleash the Quranic solution. We are getting together again in our Quranic discourse to unleash this Quranic solution in our topic today, living up integrity. And we discuss about the factors, one or three of the factors Dr. Daud Bakar enlightened or emphasized today is about Islam is not about individual, but about community and collective culture. The second one about a ritual that we want to avoid. Islam is not only about ritual individually, but it is a system of life. And the third one is about sincerity that we need to inculcate in every individual of leadership in any society member so that this integrity can be driven up and be part of the value in our current society. With that, I would like to ask Hajah Rohani about sincerity because three big words, the three factors is a big word in our effort to build integrity. So I want to highlight about the sincerity because when we are talking about money, for example, because you are experienced in wealth management. So when we are talking about accountancy, about wealth, sincerity is something rare or alien to any accounting system from what I learned. But sincerity is essential in order for us to build integrity, especially when we are dealing with money, right? When we deal with a lot of opportunity in at our job place, in any opportunity in our business. So that Hajah, if you can enlighten
Yeah.
how we want to relate or any syllabus, accounting, wealth management, wealth pursuit, adding with the sincerity, how we
Yeah.
want to inculcate that.
Yeah. Very, very difficult question. He likes to give difficult question. Okay, Ustaz. Actually, sincerity, I've never heard of that being mentioned in the
Accounting, right?
lectures, yeah, in the finance lectures or the management, wealth management aspect. But maybe we go back one step.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we talk about honesty first, yeah.
Okay.
So honesty in terms of to be trustworthy, yeah, that quality. Because without honesty, you tend to report wrongly. Yeah, and
Okay.
accounting, as you know, is about reporting what happened, yeah, truthfully,
Mm-hmm.
sincerely. To is a measure next after the truthfulness, right? Sincerely doing it because you know it's right and what's wrong.
True.
So in terms of being God, fearful of God, and that the existence of God all over watching you, that kind of quality is what's needed. So that's why in terms of maybe if I relate to Warren Buffett, yeah, everybody knows him, one of the richest man in the world. And when he was asked, how do you manage to choose which investment is the best?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what, and suddenly you keep on making money. Recently he invested like billions in some of the stocks, and people are just like, wow. So he said that one of his criteria to invest in any good investment is to see who is running the show.
Who is the
So,
running the
so
show?
he is a value investor because in investment we have a value based, fundamental based, and technical or chartist.
Mm-hmm.
But he is going for the value based, fundamental based. He goes back to the one point: make sure the company is being managed by a person of high integrity.
High integrity.
So meaning in business, can actually you cannot run away from that kind of quality,
Mm-hmm.
sincerity, honesty, high integrity is all there. Now, tapi when we go back to business integrity in Malaysia, oh gosh, I've given a lecture to about audience, seminar full of contractors. So contractors, yeah, class F, class A,
Mm-hmm.
and actually when I mentioned about being honest, yeah, we must follow the sunnah. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was known to be Al-Amin, and he was declared Al-Amin way before he embraced Islam. Yeah, before he got prophethood, he was
True.
already been declared as Al-Amin by the
Al-Amin.
people who even was Jahiliyah. But because of that quality of our Prophet, he was well known, and like you said, he was entrusted with wealth, entrusted with whatever to keep, because all the people in Arab Jahiliyyah knew that this was one person that you can trust.
Mm-hmm.
So mashallah, and even when he had to migrate from Mecca to Medina, right, that night he was still worried about this wealth I'm keeping for the
True.
people, but his life is at stake, but he's still worrying about that.
Yeah.
So where can you have that kind of personality now, mashallah? So in that context, yeah, we need to have that kind of person that whenever they do something, they will measure up. And do I measure up to this kind of quality? So when people give me funds, if actually in terms of wealth management, if we all know that this wealth are all just entrusted to us, Allah SWT is the final the final possessor of all wealth. Yeah, He actually entrusted to us the wealth for us to manage. So whatever you're doing, you must be doing because it's not your wealth, it's Allah's wealth. But try to tell that to people who are doing faraid distribution. But try to tell them, hey, hello, the faraid that you're getting is not even your wealth. It's
Yeah.
Allah's in the first place. Oh no, what do you mean? I deserve to get that kind of portion.
Yeah.
So this kind of thing along the way, like you said, is correct. Islam is being taught to us in terms of segregation. Okay, you learn Islam for the ritual, but then don't embed it in the values.
Yeah,
So
it is
it's time for
interesting when
that.
you highlight about even in terms of faraid, right?
Yeah.
When we are on to distribute the wealth of a
Yeah,
family,
yeah,
people keep on to
yeah.
get more and more.
Yes, that's
And I
right.
want to address because when Dato, when you, I know this is tough, right? When we are talking about the collective effort and also about you do want to be only on ritual basis, but it has the system way of life and also about the sincerity. One of the issue is about greed, because when we have nothing, we can passive or we can be okay with whatever we have. But when climbing up the ladders of power or opportunity, then people will see the idea. Oh, I want to get a bigger car, or I want to have a second house, third house. At that time, the greed is coming, and when the greed is there, integrity will just
Yeah.
gone, right? So do you think any or based on the tradition on how we want to inculcate or to educate the future leaders, right, in political power or maybe in CEO the successor planning, this kind of training can be do something if you can
Okay.
share.
You make it tougher now.
Okay.
Okay. I think before I attempt to answer your interesting question, perhaps I wanted to add a footnote to what Hajar Rohani mentioned about, the investor, Warren Buffett.
Yep.
He has accumulated so much wealth and money. He wanted to create a foundation.
Yeah.
And he was saying that, should I create new one or I should invest in others' fund? I'm told I'm old already, so I have to put the team because it's about trust, it's about integrity. I need to make sure that the foundation is being run and spend accordingly, perhaps 10% for expenses and the rest go to charity.
Yeah.
In our case, sometimes NGO, they take
30%.
50-50. I mean, I'm not saying all of them, but
Yeah.
this is integrity level.
Yeah.
And he decided, interestingly, in his interview, I decided not to create my own trust. I decided to give my wealth to Gate Foundation. Because I believe in the Gate and his wife, Belinda.
Belinda.
Because this is the trust. They know each other. Back to human being as well. So when it comes to greed and when it comes to what have you, we cannot run away from individual upbringing. The Quran from cover to cover, from Al-Fatiha to an-Nas, is not about system. It's not about organizational structure. It's always about an individual.
Individual.
That's why we need to go back to the individual from the education, from the assignment of the examination. We have to test the individual psyche, individual emotion, individual emotional intelligence, not about the knowledge, because individualistic examination is missing in our society. So we need to be able to test his sincerity, the way we put the question. When we talk about the tafsir and hadith and the fiqh discussion, questions are very technical all the time. Whereas there should be some 5% element of testing the personality of the person, the way we put the question. And this is something missing entirely in our society. So we cannot be fighting greed, because big fire already. We need to go back few steps to put the right syllabus or curriculum to train back the personality in terms of these qualities. These down all sincerity, respect, humility, the integrity, the honesty, and we have to test our student all the way from kindergarten, all the way to primary, secondary to the university. Yeah.
Is that, yeah,
Yeah,
please.
please.
Because I went to a convent school.
Mhm.
Yeah, when I was studying in a convent school, and actually that's where I learned humanitarian, because the sisters then was
Yeah.
taking care of spastic children, and then they actually told any one of us in the club that who wants to cater to the spastic children, you can come, because we have that center in the school. So I would like to suggest to our Datuk Daud, congratulate him being the chairman of the new
Mawib,
Majlis,
yeah.
Mawib, because if we can have that value system in our Islamic schools, because we have a lot of Islamic schools, but asrama and all that, but they are not teaching our kids to be kind, to handicapped children. In fact, they're being laughed at. When you see anak cacat, they just stay away from them, But at Form 6, Form 5, we were taught then to go and do sports day with these kids who are, handicapped and who are a bit Down syndrome, and that one touched our hearts, So that is what's missing in our
Education.
preachers also, and our scholars, like Dato' Daud say, maybe what they like is to get the celebrity status, or they like people to honor them. Wow, this Ustaz has got so many followers and all that. But then they don't go down and see how best can we get this value system to the masses. To the masses, and then create that value base, so that when you see a Muslim child, a Muslim young adult, he will always, if he see somebody crossing the road, an elderly, he will say, "Come, can I help you with your bag?" We don't see that happening much in our community.
If I may,
sure.
take back my session.
Sorry.
A small footnote. For example, in the examination, define the meaning of amanah, the meaning of akhlaq. That's it, technical, but we have not given the scenario. Let's say if you happen to find a wallet with money, what would you do? First, second, third. We train our mind to be whatever, God-fearing, to observe that. This is missing. And we can create thousands of that question to our students, our young people, which is not happening at the moment. So this is, I wanted to share with the audience, we can come back, we can put the very basic question to ignite the ruh from within. This is the missing.
Thank you, Dato' and Hajah. So basically, when we are talking about the cross-curriculum syllabus, we are not only talking about between mathematics and Bahasa Melayu, between English and also geography, right? But between geography and also integrity value, between English and about helping the needy. All these things is something from the idea that we can do something for academicians, for educators who are watching Quranic discourse today, so that we can build up the value slowly but for sure, inshallah. And at the same time, I want to address to Hajjah, because when we are talking about the integrity, for example, the husband is working and he is the contractor, maybe not every contractor, but some contractors having money under the table, that bribery. What was the role of the spouse, the wife or the kid, if you can suggest? Because one thing, we want to educate the kindergarten until the tertiary education, but at the same time, the whole country is burning or sinking. How we want to
Correct.
determine or to intervene in the middle?
Thank you, Ustaz Fazrul. Just now I didn't finish my story. I got excited and I forgot the story. Because about the contractors, when I was speaking to them and I said about the sunnah of the Prophet being honest, and then they said, one contractor raised up and his hand and said, "Hajjah, I disagree with you. In our business, if we are honest, we don't get the business." So, I mean, I was addressing like 300 men, in the crowd. So, my goodness, how shall I answer to him? But in the end, I said, actually, when I highlighted the Prophet's quality of being honest and al-amin, and you doubted that, you must check your iman. Because it cannot be that you cannot be like the Prophet. You cannot say that. That is wrong, So we ended like that lah.
Okay.
But the wife, I would just like to remind the wives out there and myself too. I mean, if we know our husband's income is, for example, 5,000 a month, yeah, and it's our birthday, and we know actually his savings rate, you know how much he's getting, and then suddenly he came back with a big a bracelet of diamond bracelet, and don't just take it because you think that he's showering you with love and all that, but question him where the money is from,
Yeah.
because that one also you always mention in my seminars, yeah, because wives must be the check and balance, and you must be the auditor in your family, because wives as women, yeah, we are in the house, we are the strength in the household, yeah. Be like Sayyidatina Khadijah, yeah. We must be the strength, we must be the one that actually holds the fort also, besides the men, yeah. If they're doing something wrong, you must always highlight that.
Yeah.
Because, oh no, even though I love to have the diamond bracelet, but if your money is from sources that is very doubtful,
Yeah.
that is actually feeding our kids, and they are going to grow straight to hell fire, yeah.
True.
So we must be highlighting that.
So being auditor, internal auditor is one of the function which is really needed, right?
Really
Because we
needed,
want to
yeah.
audit before being audited in front of Allah Subhanahu
Yes,
wa Taala,
yes,
and
yeah.
we are talking about every house, and we have auditors in every organization. All these things normally when the auditor is coming, people doesn't like it, right? Because they will scrutinize every tidbits in the organization, but this is the reality, because if we are able to being audited, we are prepared to be audited, inshallah, hopefully we will be okay in the next life, right?
Inshallah.
So in the conclusion, maybe I want to ask Dr. Waka, knowing about the index just now, we are in this number 51, 58 throughout the world, right? And knowing the status of current education to inculcate the value of integrity, what do you see about the hope, having a good political, economical leaders in the future who are living with integrity? How do you see it, and what is the measurement that need to be taken so that that hope is really a realistic hope, not only just imaginary, please?
I think for me, the very meaning and very concept and very fight for integrity should be commonly mentioned in the society. I have not done the big data analytics, but from the information I have gathered, the mention about integrity is going down and down in many societies of the world, because people don't like to talk about integrity, because integrity would restrict some of the freedom of enrichment illegally. So this is one aspect. And human, by nature, they don't like to be told they are not dishonest.
True.
Okay, so we need to find another strategy to bring back the theme of integrity. Perhaps in Islamic concept they call al-amana. I think the word amana is quite powerful words to really capture the meaning of being straight in your attitude, being straight in your words, just now in the Quran, being straight in your behavior, being straight in your disclosure and auditing and report and recording. This is something that we need to do first. We need to speak about integrity all the time, most of the time, if not all the time, so that people would understand the meaning of integrity. My comment, the word integrity is less spoken and less understood. People don't understand in Malaysia in particular, or perhaps in other part of the world. We have to find another word to replace the meaning of integrity, because it's too much Latin-based words. So we need to bring it down so people can, let's say, dishonesty in bahasa kecurangan. So people see the word kecurangan, keuangan, or this financial dishonesty easy for them to grab. So the nomenclature should be made more people-oriented, so that people can see, like faedah or interest and riba. You would put interest is halal, is good. Interest, income. Riba, people got shaky. The same thing go for integrity and many other terms. We shouldn't be following the English literature all the way. We should culturalized. We should make it part of our culture. As in Yemen, in Saudi, in Malaysia, in Oman, we need to bring the right word for our society, for them to understand better.
So when you mentioned about the usage of the right words, does it reflect to verse number 70 just now, which colon sadida, which
No, that's why I started by saying that there's no one word in the Quran, one verse that can capture the whole meaning of integrity.
integrity.
It's our intelligence, given the current time
Mhm.
where we are, perhaps in the next 100 years, different terminology
Okay.
that suit that society. So we need to pick up the right word that current society, bilisani qawmihi, as in the Quran, that can explain the very meaning of integrity.
Meaning of the
Yeah,
integrity.
yeah.
So this is one of the suggestion for us to build good leaders in the future, because we are talking about just now from verse number 70 and 71. It is followed by inna aradna al-amana ala samawati wal ard, right?
Al-amanah.
Amanah. So the wording is there. I think Ustaz Tirmizi, if you can recite from verse number 72, because this is really powerful, and maybe perhaps Dr. Dawaka can enlighten a little bit about the idea about zaluman jahula. What does it mean actually when the mountains and the earth and the heaven doesn't want to take the responsibility, right? So this is a famous verse that we want to dig deeper. So 72 from Ustaz Tirmizi.
شكرا أستاذ طوان فزرول ووافق يعني مع كلام فضيلة الشيخ محمد أبو بكر عن النزاهة أو بلغة الحالية أو بلغة الآن integrity. النزاهة هنا ليست يعني كلمات تقرأ وليست عبارة تتلى يعني. والنزاهة يعني كيف أن تطبق يعني ما تؤمن به وأن تطبق ما تقوله، كما قال سبحانه وتعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا لما تقولون ما لا تفعلون كبر مقتا عند الله أن تقولوا ما لا تفعلون. إن شاء الله سأقرأ الآية من سورة الأحزاب. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا.
Surah Al-Azim, this is the recitation from Surah Al-Ahzab, chapter number 33, verse 72. Truly we did offer al-amanah, the trust or moral responsibility or honesty and all duties which Allah has ordained to the heavens and the earth, and also to the mountains, but they declined to bear it and were afraid of it, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's torment. But man bore it. Verily, he was unjust to himself and ignorant of its result. Two terminology is being used in this verse: zaluman jahula, very wrong, and also fullness. When reading this verse, Datuk Daud, it seems like this is really big responsibility to be a human, and even Allah says zaluman jahula. It seems like I cannot bear the responsibility, and integrity, amanah is so heavy for me. But how we want to decipher this verse in terms of proactive, so that we can make it real to living up integrity, please.
Okay. Alhamdulillah, in my humble opinion and understanding of this verse, I think the Quran has directly or indirectly given the solution from this same verse when the Quran mentioned about innahu kana zaluman jahula, meaning to say the humans are bound to transgress beyond the limit, zoluma.
Mhm.
Why they are bound to do that? Because the attribute of jahula, the ignorant. That's why in order to fight the zulm, the oppression and the transgression is about knowledge, is about jahul. And the mountains and what have you, most, if not all, the mufassirun were saying why the mountains and the ocean and the
Heaven and the earth.
and heavens are not in the position to accept the amanah. Again, the amanah cannot be defined by any words. It covers so many responsibility about the development, about the humanity, about protecting the environment beyond, because this creature cannot think.
Mhm.
And this is the only reason why humans are being appointed as the Khalifa, because they can think.
Think.
When they can think, they can be intellectually capable. When they are intellectually capable, they can know what is right, what is wrong. And if they can do that, they can be a good and just leader and superior in this world. But we reverse back the whole value chain. If they don't have the knowledge, or they use the knowledge wrongly, and everything will backfire the very creation of human to become the leader of this world. So jahul is the source of problem. Al-jahala, the ignorance. And jahula mean it's not a simple jahul, it's not a simple ignorant, very deeply ignorant in Arabic term. Jahula, it's not jahil, it's jahula, very deeply ignorant. And these are the people who corrupted the whole world.
Thank you so much. So this is the idea behind this
Mm.
verse 72 is about a knowledge so that we can avoid ignorance, and that ignorance will lead to zaluma, transgression, right? So it relate to that transgression is related to the non-integrity, corruption in the workplace, in the household, and with that idea, education is essential, right? We need to do something about the education. The normal or the current situation of education need to be improved.
Is not comprehensive enough. Because
Mhm.
education, in our understanding,
It's
going
formal.
to school
Yes, formal
is
education.
not right. So we have to give the new nomenclature to revive back the
Yeah.
whole idea of training and tarbiyah and ta'lim, and of course part of that is education, of course. So
Education.
this is something, a challenge for the scholars, for the thinkers, to really pick, pick from the Quran what would be the right terminology, the right
Yeah.
term to fight the phenomenon of ignorance and transgression.
Transgression.
Yeah.
So with that idea, maybe Hajjah, if you can suggest something that we need to do, maybe for the wealth consultant, maybe, or for lecturers, in terms of how we want to get back the real education,
Yeah.
not only the formal education that we are
Yeah.
trapped in
Yeah.
right now, and we are resetted by the COVID-19, right? Because
Yes.
now we can learn anywhere, anytime, and this is the time to reset the education system so that that education will lead to the value of non-transgression in the future.
Yeah, yeah. I think Mr. Fazrul and Mr. Tamizi is doing a good job. You're doing that now.
Alhamdulillah.
During the COVID, you guys come up with the Quran time, mashallah. You see, I'm one of the followers of Quran time, mashallah. I think all the wealth planners, all the bankers, or what have you, you should just sit and listen to them discuss about the Quran, digging out and learning the value system. You must do it, because if you miss all their 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 5 o'clock and 11 o'clock, then get on YouTube, because there's no reason for you not to capture. Because I myself take a discipline to try and do that. And inshallah, once we understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell us from the Quran, then we'll be able to embed that values. And ta'lim, for family ta'lim, is a good example, because that is the informal kind of education in the household, where the mother or father talk and discuss about Quran time values, with the children. If you can't get them to watch TV together, then just do a ta'lim, inshallah. So I think I just end with a few words, since I've already written something here. So integrity is purity, integrity is honesty, integrity is priceless, and you should say zero tolerance to partial integrity. No such things. Say no, say zero tolerance to dual morality. You just have one. Yeah, zero tolerance to dishonesty. So inshallah, let's do something for Malaysians. Let's fight anything that's wrong and
Yeah.
just say no to all of it. Inshallah.
Thank you so much to Hajjah Rohani and also Dr. Daud Bakar to share the thoughts, the knowledge, experience about living up integrity today. We hope that based on our simple discussion, short discussion today, we are enlightened by the verse from Surah Al-Ahzab, verse 70, 71, and 72, because Surah Al-Ahzab is a really crucial chapter or surah in Quran. It's related to integrity in the societal environment. This need to be discussed more, but at least we have three verses covered that we know. In order for us to avoid transgression, we need to fight jahula, ignorance, right? Deep ignorance. And this is nothing but to revamp our education system so that in the house, it's not only to rely on the formal education, we need to cross the curriculum, and that curriculum need to be value laden with all the value that we have it in Quran, so that we are really being led to a better society. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us so that we are living really to the highest integrity. We want to emulate what Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has shown in the past. The non-Muslim put the trust to Prophet, and we are the people, the follower of Prophet that need to enliven the idea of integrity. With that, I'd like to invite Ustaz Tirmizi to recite simple dua so that we are able to be guided and guided and guided for living out integrity. Please.
وأخيرا نسأل الله تعالى أن يجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. اللهم اهدنا لأحسن الأخلاق لا يهدي لأحسنها إلا أنت، واصرف عنا سيئها لا يصرف عنا سيئها إلا أنت. اللهم أدبنا بأدب القرآن وخلقنا بخلق القرآن وعلمنا بعلم القرآن. اللهم إنا نسألك فعل الخيرات وترك المنكرات وحب المساكين وأن تغفر لنا وترحمنا، وإذا أردت فتنة في قوم فاقبضنا إليك غير مفتونين يا رب العالمين، والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you so much to Ustaz Tirmizi and also to Datuk Daud Bakar and Hajjah Rohani to have the session today. And we will have more session to discuss about the Quranic values and how we want to living up the value in our daily life so that we are on the track, on the right path towards Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. So inshallah we will meet up together again inshallah in the coming Quranic discourse, Unleash Quranic Solution.